Recording is on.
Hello and welcome to the DXDAO, Monday, 9th of August, 2021. BizDev call. Sorry, BizDev call. I believe we don't have any new member introductions, but we have a couple of follow-ups from previous sort of like opportunities. The first one is the House LP DAO sort of collaboration, which seems to be going very well. We're going to be talking about potential Lido, ETH2 staking, good dollar collaboration that call that happened last week. Polygon strategy for DXDAO, which is the DX venture investment actually went, they deployed on Polygon, and if we want to get our investment, then we have to somehow figure out like what we're doing on Polygon. We have the ETH Global Hackathon preparation, which is in a month, and we need to start thinking of what we're doing there. A proposal for like a YAM collaboration. Under discussions, we have like a DXDAO collaboration and what that could look like. And then we have ETH Lisbon in itself, which is a couple of things that are happening. There's maybe we want to do a DXDAO event, maybe collaborate with someone else, sponsor the hackathon, and then there's the DXDAO retreat that we're talking about, and maybe I can speak about this as well. Like there's some progress, and yeah, I think that's it. Or maybe if we can get to it, like the ETH VC summary post that was made by Tammy. So yeah, maybe we can start with the House LP DAO progress.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. We can move quickly through some of these things because so this post, I mean, this is a topic we've been talking about for a while. There's quite a few like interesting things within it that are unique. If you read the details, as I try to put as many details in there as possible, it is doing like another rewards pool before we have Swapper token. Like we haven't even talked about doing more rewards for like DXD token yet, even though we still have a couple ongoing ones. So this is like, I know this is like a unique thing. So it's, I mean, we can kind of think of it as an expense to stay involved in this experiment, right? So this is, and the idea of LP DAOs is actually a really interesting idea. I think there will be more of them. Right now, it's pretty awesome that Swapper is attached to it. It's our like, when we did our original farming, we got to like 250K of capital in that pool. And already this pool, like as of today, when the DAO puts the additional liquidity in, we'll have a net at least 485,000 based on today's prices. So my guess is that could even be higher than 500K, which would then make it the third biggest pool on Swapper. It has a 0.5% fee. It becomes like a good place for people to trade that token, right? And so this is kind of what we want. And so ideally we could do this with Swapper token, but we don't have it yet. It may come in the end of August now, is what we're thinking. So in this proposal, before I knew about that, we were saying 6 weeks. So 6 weeks would cover probably through the launch of Swapper token, which is great. So in 6 weeks, we could then reevaluate. Do we want to do more rewards with Swapper token or what we want to do from there? But it's I think this is a rather small cost to stay involved in this, like keep Swapper really like heavily tied to this cool experiment. So I don't know if anyone had any thoughts or opinions. Or questions?
Yeah, like currently the whole liquidity is basically on Swapper on XI, right? Where could they else go in order to like improve yield on the XI network?
So the biggest pool for how on XI
is where?
Is Swapper, yeah. The biggest pool is the House with pool. It will become even bigger once this LP DAO puts more capital in. and it becomes the main place that anyone in the world would trade house, basically.
And where else could they go instead of Swapper?
Yeah, so theoretically, it's probably going to be on XDAI, but theoretically, if HoneySwap or SushiSwap or some other DEX said there is now $1 million like rewards pool on or some larger amount, theoretically the DAO can vote to take liquidity out of Swapper and put it into another DEX, but there's like there'd be like governance and work and discussion that would go along with that. It's one of like the benefits of having an LP DAO. It would be an interesting idea for DXD to potentially have an LP DAO as well. The tricky thing with DXD is because DXDAO already has Swapper, DXD holders wouldn't really ever want to move liquidity away from Swapper or somewhere else, right? So like the DXD LP DAO might not make that much sense. But so one thing would be if other projects with tokens, whether it's maybe on Arbitrum or XDAI, potentially mainnet, Swapper could become like the go-to recommended DEX for new LP like organizations like this.
Like from my perspective, I don't see it as it needs to be worth the money or like the revenue directly. It's just us being the leaders when it comes to DAO partnerships, or like being the trusted partner, right? It's nice if we become that and not, let's say, HoneySwap. I don't know. Yeah, if we talk about will we make our money back or the revenue, I don't know. Like I haven't calculated that, but we need to find our place in this AMM war, and yeah, let's let's find our way.
Yeah, I don't think there's like loyalty in the space. It's all about generating the highest profits. If there's like a more capital efficient solution for householders in place on XDAI, they will definitely move. So yeah, I don't like that's the main purpose of the LP DAO, right? That they are able to move away.
Well, the one really interesting thing would be an integration that actually gives the fee governance of that pool and turns it over to the LP DAO, so that the LP DAO actually has the governance over the fee, right? And that's something that like HoneySwap and SushiSwap can't do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Doing this makes it like that idea. I mean, we're not even doing our own we don't have our own LP governance swap fee yet, but like this is a way to actually turn that over to an existing an LP DAO, which is quite interesting. So we could work on that over the next I don't even actually think there's probably some technical integration that they'd have to create, but like we would have to just do a proposal to like change the fee setter owner to like their DAO, which would be a super interesting integration. Yeah. So like that's an example. So one of the things we were discussing is in this next point down, DXbiz discussions, like what does a collab look like in this space? Because let's say there was a technology to do that integration, like who's gonna build it, right? Like probably we do this like pool, we have a good relationship, maybe they take the actions to build it, because we don't have extra resources to like give off to building new stuff, right? we're building stuff that we're already behind building our own stuff. So in general, when we partner or collab with people at this point, we're kind of like supplying, we'll supply capital, other people supply like the building of it, right? Like that's how I see collabs working today, because we don't have extra dev resources, right?
Right. Like one interesting idea would be that the house, like, I mean, they have built a DAO governance system, right? It's
Yeah.
basically Moloch with new stuff, I hope. But why not like see them
Yeah.
actually building the connection to Swapper, so they, like any LP DAO should be able to request like ownership of a Swapper pool via a Moloch, like a house DAO.
Yeah, where their actual proposal, the LP DAO's proposal, if it passes, it actually changes the fee, right?
Yeah. Do you mean like once they get the ownership of the pool, they should be
Yeah.
able to like change the fee based on governance?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, let's move on to the next thing. But like, yeah, if you have any comments or suggestions, or really hate this idea or like the idea, comment or heart in the thread. And we have some time. We have like a week. Well, really, this could start whenever or it could not start whenever. So like in the next week or two would be ideal to start it if it was going to come into existence.
Yeah, in general, I just think it's good. It's very good to be connected with the rest of the Ethereum DAO community, even if it's a bit different. So, yeah, on to the next topic. I think create like a little priority. Do you want to talk briefly about Good Dollar, or is Tammy not here?
Tammy couldn't make it, but
yeah.
A couple of us were on the call. Good Dollar. So the idea with Good Dollar is kind of like Circles. It's this like big platform for UBI. That's, Good Dollar One is like being funded and created by the eToro team, which is, I think, Israeli based. They've been funding it themselves. It's kind of an experiment. It's an experiment just like Circles, UBI. It's gotten some traction. Some people are actually using it in developing worlds. Developing countries. And one idea that Tammy kind of raised was it would be interesting to potentially incentivize and include a Good Dollar pool on ideally they're mainly on mainnet right now. Do it for like a small like for social good, basically like help a social cause. So it's basically a way to attach DXDAO and Swapper to this interesting for good experiment, and incentivizing some pool for good dollars in Swapper could gain some good marketing from that. And eToro like team in general is very apparently very, very good at marketing. So they're already saying like if we did something, they could really push it through their marketing channels.
So what should we do for them?
Incentivize, like give some Swapper rewards to a Swapper pool.
And we are talking about Swapper token rewards.
Yeah.
On Exile or on Arbitrum?
Well, they're mainly on mainnet, but potentially it could be on Arbitrum. Arbitrum's no one's on Arbitrum yet though. So
I think they're on Fuse, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So they use Fuse Network, but they have a bridge to mainnet. So they're like the Good Dollar token in like a DEX would first be on mainnet, and then theoretically you could bridge some over to Arbitrum as well. But yeah, we could just include the project in a list of partners we want to include in interesting DAO focused farming campaigns that we plan to do with Swapper token, right? So we don't have this program going yet because we don't have it, but we're gonna have a list, and we've already started a list of like projects where we think we could own that pool, and there's some connection to DXDAO. They're not just like random DeFi projects like Aave and Uniswap, right? They have some. They're probably more niche. We could probably own that pool. We have a relationship with those parties. We could potentially do other stuff together. But this just has a social good connection to it, and that would be a choice to include that in a farming campaign for that reason. Or not.
And those partnerships actually define the DXDAO, right? Like we see the partnership with Radical, it's like a testament for we're actually really trying to use decentralized technologies now. Having a UBI project partnering with is also another like a defining character point for the DXDAO, and I think it's definitely a good opportunity for us.
Yeah, and maybe someone could think of some like specific closer connection that DXDAO could be involving UBI, right, in its ecosystem. Because like this is just like a general connection, but maybe there's actually something deeper that Good Dollar and DXDAO could do together. So need to figure that out too.
Yeah. So what are the next steps here?
Really, we probably need Swapper token, and then we'll position Good Dollar, a potential Good Dollar pool in like what we're talking around doing rewards pools, and we can bounce any other ideas off the Good Dollar team as well.
Yeah, are they going to create a proposal? I mean, at the end, it's just creating like a draft proposal on DAO Talk, and then you can start the discussion.
Yeah, I don't think they would create the proposal. This is not like we're not doing any of these proposals today about like DXDAO doing Swapper rewards for like certain projects because Swapper token's not here, right? So like, just it's for people to keep in mind for when we start to do that type of program.
Yeah, are they fine with waiting for Swapper mainnet launch?
I don't think they have a choice. So.
And they don't have an alternative?
Well, their whole system has been bootstrapped. It's still like a small project this is not like giant numbers, right? But they have like lots of users around, but they have this, it's like Circle. It's like, do you have any Circle tokens? Like they're theoretically worth nothing, but you can use them for things. But they start to have some value because they are backed by DAI, I believe, basically they have a bonding curve system. So yeah, we can share more details about how the Good Dollar system works so people can get familiar with it. But you can all go to Good Dollar and you can start like earning your UBI today. So maybe people should try that out.
Yeah, I have it. I've had it for like a long time. I haven't like opened the app so a long time as well. So
yeah, check it out.
all right. Next topic that I think like we should just, or did anyone want to say something? All right. So I think like we could just like discuss this briefly about Polygon. So like this started with like DXVenture's investment into work tokens, and there was this whole issue. They put on XDAI, but they screwed up essentially, and now they're on Polygon. And in order to receive our tokens, we need to somehow receive them on Polygon. And then I don't know. A question is, should DXDAO deploy on Polygon? could be interesting. It's cheaper, right? And yeah, maybe we could test like DXvote before it's fully live on Arbitrum. I don't know, like thoughts around this?
So before it's even without being work token in general, we keep hearing things, and Tammy, heard this a lot in Paris. She was saying like new project launching. Oh, interesting. Get DXD involved, DXDAO involved. Oh, but we're only on Polygon. Like we can gamify all your apps and send you users, but we're only on Polygon. And so there is a bunch of projects in the space that are only on Polygon. It's obviously got a lot of capital compared to like XDAI. There's some trade-offs there, and DXDAO has beliefs. So we're using XDAI as our kind of experimental expansion base. We didn't use Polygon mainly because Gnosis kind of chose XDAI around Omen, I think, like organically. But now there's like a specific use case where DXDAO has an investment where there is a work token, which we're trying to figure out like if we could probably get the work token on mainnet, but like then the work token just sits in DXDAO and then you can't stake it. And so you lose all the benefits of staking basically, because staking your work token is how you get rewards from the overall system. And so if you just take work token and put them in mainnet DXDAO, theoretically we could use it for like capital pools maybe if we wanted to. But if you want to participate in the Opolis system, like you have to be like a member of the cooperative, and you have to also be on Polygon basically. And so there are ways to like in a trust way, like get the token from Polygon some way and send it over to mainnet, bridge it. And it is originally a mainnet token, so it is a mainnet token. What is the minimum thing we want to do with this token, and do we just want it to sit in DXDAO on mainnet, or do we want to try to use it in the system basically?
I think like there's like a couple of questions here. One is, if we're getting feedback that a lot of things are opening up on Polygon, then why not deploy on Polygon, right? And that could tie in like to DXvote and other stuff.
Yeah. There's another interesting thing related to that is like there's gonna be some like probably there's kind of an LP DAO forming around work token as well, and because it's on Polygon, these liquidity pools could be on mainnet and Polygon, and so theoretically, like it would be nice to have the work pool on Swapper, right? But there's talk that it makes sense to use a DEX that's on at least mainnet and Polygon. And so people are, I think, favoring SushiSwap right now because it has the ability to be on both chains. So by not having Swapper on Polygon, we're basically losing a potential opportunity to participate.
So just from a Swapper product side, we are planning a Swapper bridge, and the Swapper bridge to work, we need to deploy Swapper on Polygon, and we're most probably gonna deploy it on like Binance chain too. But that doesn't mean that we're gonna deploy Arbitrum. Sorry, we're not deploying a DXDAO base on Binance or
who will govern, who will own Swapper on those chains though?
So the bridge and the swapping will be separate. Like you could see it as a different product.
But doesn't someone have to own, like if Swapper is deployed there, doesn't someone have to have ownership of it?
That's a good question. I don't remember exactly how we talked about this, but that's part of our plan. As I understand it, we don't need a DXDAO base for each deployment.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we
so-
could do it with a multi-sig, right? Like that's kind of like how all other like projects are doing it.
Do you mean bridging tokens throughout networks?
No, I mean, we'll have a multi-sig on Polygon with some of the members here, and then that will govern Swapper.
Wait, why are we not installing a rep clone from the DXDAO on Polygon?
We could, like 100% we could, and like maybe this is a chance to also like fully use DXvote, maybe use DXD tokens to stake.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it depends on if Augusto's code is actually like needs to be audited, because then we will not push. That was my dog.
Sounds like a lion.
Yeah, I see that as an opportunity, like to bolster Swapper as like multi-chain. I think at the beginning of Swapper's governance future, the DXDAO will kind of do it a little bit for it until the governance system is in place for Swapper, right? So we are already like the DXDAO will already manage the token at the beginning. So it wouldn't hurt if we will also manage like Polygon deployments, and yeah, a rep clone would be awesome. And I think that's like a big benefit we have with like cloning secure. Cloning like rep state, which makes the governance kind of secure, because like liquid token governance, they need to incentivize people to move to the other chain to like do governance on it, right? So bootstrapping a secure governance system on other chains will be difficult for the rest, but not for us. So I think that's something we should leverage.
So the one thing is, Geronimo, that's a good point, but like this isn't the first time we've discussed this, and we've kind of just said like DXDAO doesn't believe in Binance Smart Chain really, and like the beliefs behind it, and doesn't really believe in, or believes less in like Polygon as well, compared to mainnet and compared to Arbitrum. And so like we've already kind of consciously made a decision that not to put a base there. And so now like we're really just putting a base there to like get a token. It kind of seems dumb. And okay, if you need a base there because of the bridge stuff that Zet's talking about with Swapper, that's another story, which we can figure out if that's the case. But we've kind of decided not to put a base on those two chains so far. So it's not that easy to just say, okay, let's put more bases out there.
Yeah, I mean, we're also missing out with it. We're also missing out like opportunities with those like chain communities, right? Like there is a Polygon community evolving right now, and we are not part of it, mainly because we are not like. I mean, for us, it's actually pretty simple to be somewhere else by just like redeploying a clone, and then we are there. And similar to the XDAI, only once the main base is moving funds to the new clone, only then we are like actually starting to use the base.
Yeah, but what if there was like a chain that was just like two validators, and like some people were using that two validator chain, like DXDAO is kind of like, that's not, in our mind, that's like not really a solution, right? And so we wouldn't put a base there.
I mean, we're using XDAI, which is proof of authority with a few servers. I mean, we are, I think, already at the lower limit of decentralization. I don't think we can get like even lower than the. And Polygon is basically the same thing, just picked the wrong network.
Yeah. So like I think it could be good to just like open a base.
Would people be comfortable trying to get the work token into DXDAO mainnet like treasury? Is that something that people are very concerned with, like doing as fast as possible?
yeah, I think we need to like sync base with Augusto about using DXvote with mostly DAO stack contracts on Polygon, which means they're kind of battle tested, right? So yeah, and with the hopefully DXD as a staking token for the Polygon governance system. Then I don't think I think it's actually like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I already pinged him in the DXvote chat. So yeah, let's see what Augusto says. I don't see why not. This could also serve as, like a test, but like before Arbitrum. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to Ross, like, what do we lose? Like, will we lose like an image? Will our image get attacked if we use Polygon? I mean, it's just like it's basically XDAI with a different community and like way more network effects. Do we lose anything if we just clone ourselves there and start doing business there?
Yeah, like there's a chance that like Arbitrum and Optimism launch and Polygon TVL continues to grow rapidly.
I think our end goal is to promote our front-end products. Like I think we should lead as on front ends for now, and also move like strongly on Solidity development and like build our own protocols too. But for now, I think we should promote our front-end products, which means we should be on different EVM communities.
Yeah.
So do we want to start a thread where we discuss these things? Is this a open, like, would this be a good public thread? Like, should DXL move to Polygon, expand to Polygon? I mean?
Yeah, I think so. And we can start like with Augusto.
Okay,
Augusto's feedback.
let's keep going.
Yeah, sorry. I was lost in the tabs. So the next topic, maybe it's, the ETH Global Hackathon. That's happening in a month. I don't know if there's any, like we talked like last time about like Carrot and things to do with Omen, but I don't know if anything was like decided or like even written down. So yeah, like this is also could be like an open thread that people throw in like ideas. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has anything else they want to talk about in regards to the Global Hackathon.
Yeah, like really we need to figure out how we're going to get Carrot further along, because lots of people want to use it. It's really interesting, and I don't think we can like count on random hackers at a hackathon to build Carrot. Really, we need to like make Carrot work and exist, and then people can think of new ways to use Carrot in different ecosystems and different products and stuff. But like no hackathon, no hackers at a hackathon are going to build Carrot for us. So we need to figure out internally how to get the resources we need to build something like that.
Wait, didn't Lucy created V1 of Carrot already?
He created like a very light basic thing that then he hasn't been able to look at it for like a month. But Carrot does not exist, no.
Basically, Federico's too busy with Swapper and will be too busy with Swapper for at least 1.5 months more.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And yeah, would be great if we could plan out Carrot and make an MVP together with the like ETHWorks that does like they do actually smart contracts and front ends, and until like it's not like we have we have the funds, we have the money, we need developers, but until then, like, do we just wait and roll our fingers? I don't think that's a good idea.
I agree.
Yeah, the other thing we talked about is taking all of DXDAO's development resources, putting them in a pool, and figuring out based on priorities and products and things like where to assign those resources. Like that would be one way to get Carrot built sooner, right?
Yeah, I mean, we need someone to architect build this on like paper first or in real life. It depends. So we basically need Federico's head on this first. So he needs to put on time on this, just to either write it down or to explain it in a good way for a team to actually start building this. But yeah, so one is the planning, the other one is actually building.
Yeah, maybe we should have like a concentrated session just about this ETH Global Hackathon. Perhaps, I don't know, after some of the people who are away are back.
Yeah.
All right, maybe we should move on to the next topic. Yeah, so I guess the next topic is sort of like ETH Lisbon and everything that's going on around it. There is a team on Keybase with a bunch of people as a part of it. Generally shaping up to be, the hackathon is between the 14th and the 16th, I think. And then between the 12th and or like the 11th and 12th or 13th is LizCon, which is essentially like a crypto conference. And then we were talking in DXDAO to have the retreat in the days before that. So starting from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then probably like leaving on Monday. Yes. Oh yeah, sorry. 22nd to the 24th is the hackathon. Maybe I have the schedule somewhere. And yeah, some of the things that we're thinking is like I'm pushing through speaking to Graded and X, which they do. They do like workshops and team buildings and stuff like that. And I know Kate and Francesca from there. They used to work for or like with DAOstack, and you know they're familiar with DAOs. They're familiar with these type of workshops, and it could be like great to have them come for like a couple of days. I will share more info like by today. Like we're supposed to have an offer. And then yeah, thanks Melanie. So LizCon is Wednesday and Thursday, and then the hackathon is like Friday through Sunday. Yeah, agreed, Sky.
I'm a little concerned that like the hackathon that like there's one fund that's like running the hackathon and making decisions, which we're now seeing. Then there's like a couple other things being planned, but it's like ECC in Paris and all those events. Like yeah, the side events came together late, but like the core thing was very like planned well in advance, right? And this seems like it's maybe that's okay. Maybe it's just like a lot of side events all put together in 1 week. So maybe my concern is invalid, but I wouldn't put too much into like a hackathon.
Yeah, I think they also announced it just after Portugal announced that in October restrictions are going to be lifted. So maybe they were also waiting on this, you know. But I agree that it's still a bit chaotic, and the fact that that there's a waiting list to sponsor, it's a bit weird, I feel, but yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing is a bit kind of weird with the hackathon, but I think you know there's definitely going to be a crypto gathering, and this is something that we're interested in. And then you know if everything works out, then we'll be able to do you know at least 3-4 days of DXDAO coming together and you know working on whatever it is that we want to do. I think this has been discussed both in Paris and like before, like a DX retreat. So yeah.
Actually, to briefly talk about the DX retreat, I think there are a couple of different thoughts behind this. So there's also an idea of like already flying out to Portugal maybe on the 10th, for example, and then doing like the Monday to Friday somewhere outside of Lisbon, so more like proper retreat style, you know, where we're all together maybe in a quinta or a villa or whatever, then moving to Lisbon for like the 7-8 days of the conference and having one big apartment there. I don't know what people think. I've also been looking into some options with Melanie, and we'll also share some stuff in Keybase and on the forum to get some feedback. But I think it's also important to move quickly on this kind of stuff because, of course, a lot of crypto companies, not only crypto companies, but also the week right after is Web Summit, the biggest tech event in Europe, I think, or something like this. So the time periods are going to be quite busy. So I think it's also important to make a decision on this quickly. And I'm just getting some final quotes so we can actually have a budget together straight away. And then I'll share those as soon as I have like a rough idea of prices and stuff. Which would mean that the DX retreat would be something from the 10th to the 15th, let's say, outside of Lisbon. And then from the 17th until the 25th, the end of the conference, we would have a big house in Lisbon. So we'd also have like a couple of days in Lisbon before the actual event starts, just to settle down in Lisbon and stuff. Not sure what your guys' thoughts are about that.
Like at your house?
My house is not big enough for that. I mean, we can have a little party here for sure, but it's only got 2 bedrooms, my house. So. And I don't have a pool, unfortunately. But I mean, if you guys are interested, I can actually share in the chat. So in Portugal, there are a lot of quintas, which are like traditionally like estates in the countryside where they make wine. So I'll just share here in the chat one we were looking at, where we could rent, like they have like a little villa slightly outside on the vineyard, and a couple of other houses are more close to the vineyard or closer together, these other houses. And I believe it's like for 5 or 6 nights, it's like 5,000 euro for like 17, 18 people. So it actually comes down to a very more or less affordable rate if you do the count per person. So that was the idea, to perhaps do this. And they also do barbecues, picnics, yoga, wine tastings, all this kind of stuff where we could do some events and then also maybe organize some work around that. And then the idea was to move into Lisbon after this. And there are also some really good apartments right next to where the event is taking place. And it's also very central. So from there, you can also walk pretty much to town, and you have a lot of restaurants and everything around you.
So I can't make it like before the 15th, but this sounds amazing. Maybe we should do it the week after, like Eve Lisbon. But yeah, I don't know.
Just come before and then leave for the marriage and come back.
That'd be crazy. But yeah, this sounds like really, really amazing. I guess we'll have to, like, I don't know if for everyone it's okay to have, I don't know, take off like, or to leave home for like 2 weeks, but I guess for some it is.
Yeah, and Dave and I did discuss that, and we're taking that into account. So I mean, if some people can only make the retreat, or if some people can only make the conference, like that's fine. I mean, it'll just give everybody an opportunity to be together. I completely understand 2 weeks is a long time, but we want the experience to be amazing. We're putting together all of this information and we're going to share it with you guys. So hopefully we can get like a proposal up or something up in the forum for everybody to just formally review and take a look at, to see if it's something that you guys are all interested in.
Yeah, I'll just say again, this sounds really amazing. I can tell you that I've been, so like to kind of continue off of that, I've been talking to like Greater Than X, like I said before, and it looks like for 2 full days, which is sort of like, I don't know if it's intense workshops, but it's, you know, it's lots of team building and like strategy and like alignment, understanding like what we want to do. And it comes down to about like 6K euros, which is, I feel like that's very cheap. And yeah, like I'll have like a full proposal like later today or tomorrow. And yeah, I think that could be like really great for DXDAO.
Yeah, and Dave and I were kind of discussing that, Nylon. We were thinking that maybe we could do those workshops at the actual conference, and then maybe share, like, save the retreat just for other activities just within the group. So that kind of works perfect if you aren't going to be able to make it to the retreat.
What's planned for a retreat like that?
Well, the location that we're planning on looking at offers like a ton of different experiences, kind of like Dave was saying. So they have like yoga, meditation, like food tasting, oil tastings. Like, I think you can go on like hikes, and then it has like, of course, like a pool and all of that. So we'll probably plan like a bunch of like team building activities around that as well. But that's what we were kind of thinking.
What do people think if such a proposal? I would assume like the accommodation, if we took a look at the 2 weeks, is probably going to be in the neighborhood of, I would just roughly guess, like 13 to 15K. Should that proposal pass on both mainnet and XDAI, or is XDAI enough, or what? Just to feel some general idea on this. What do you guys think?
XDAI should do, but what would that include?
Accommodation for 2 weeks for roughly 17 people.
So room and board, and activities?
No, just room, yeah.
Wow, that's for how many people?
17 to 18.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's reasonable. Yeah. And it's not a big amount, so XDAI should do. But we should make sure that we go ahead with ETH Lisbon, the hackathon. We'll take care of the retreat, I reckon. But the experience with ETHCC was that we waited till the last moment and then we couldn't get tickets. If we could make sure we get a place at the hackathon, and then we'll take care of the retreat as well.
Yeah, so of course the accommodation is for both Lisbon for the event and the DX retreat. And I mean, ETH Lisbon is a hackathon, so there are actually no tickets that go on sale. You just have to apply to be a hacker. So that part is a bit different than ETHCC. LizCon will likely have tickets, but they don't even have a website yet. So, but as soon as the website is there, we should make sure we get some tickets for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I just meant the sponsoring packages, because I emailed them and actually got a response back from Chris from 1KX, and he said that there is no particular theme around the hackathon. It's a general track, and hackers can build whatever they want. And what the sponsorship does, it gives you a unique chance to tell hackers what you want to be built and incentivize them. And only sponsors can do that. And
yeah, we actually already look at the sponsor book, and we're already in touch with Christopher about sponsorship opportunities. And they're actually delayed on their side because apparently they have too many people who want to sponsor. So they're actually reviewing sponsors. And so they're actually going to take 1 to 2 weeks to give some information on what decision they're going to make. But we're already in touch and have already inquired to sponsor. So,
but have we told them like which one we want, whether it's the silver or the gold one?
Yeah. We inquired for gold for now, but there's only one left, and as I said, they're evaluating who to give it to. So,
right,
yeah.
We reached out to them about 2 weeks ago or a while ago, and we've been talking to Chris at KX, but they said they'll let us know as soon as possible.
Yeah, so I guess we're out of time. Anything else we should discuss? There's an ETH VC summary post from Paris, if you haven't seen it in the forums. It's up. And yeah. Anyone else has something to add? Very silent.
I mean, there's no rush to end it right away. Like, is there anything else on the list? I closed my HackMD tab.
I have to go, but there are a bunch of stuff actually. There's discussion about Lido, ETH2 staking, YAM collaboration. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe just to touch on Lido really quickly. Nathan's done a bunch of work, and there's been some posts like background of Lido, but in general, the idea is Lido is this platform that allows us to stake basically into ETH2. Like Nexus Mutual is doing it with like 5 or 10,000 ETH, I think. There are some points of like it's not fully decentralized, like the withdrawals and who can run the staking validators and things. So there's like some positives and negatives to it, but it's would people be interested in taking some ETH, like 1,000 ETH or first or something, and staking it into ETH2 to earn like around 5.5% return on ETH?
So a proposal passed to doing this with Stakewise, and the problem is like to do this directly from the DAO. It's a bit complex. I'm hoping that I'll be able to figure this out with Nico, but perhaps like we could split it up between Stakewise and Lido. I think these are the two main ones that are live. So,
what are the benefit of doing direct staking on via DXDAO, or just like holding the staking tokens?
you get yield.
I mean, if you hold the staking, like stake ETH, steth, you're generating yield, right? You have like a staking derivative.
Yeah. So there's if we go on to Curve and buy staked ETH with ETH, there's like you're paying like fees and slippage and stuff. If you put it into Lido directly, you have a lower fee. Then the bigger kind of risk though is like we have staked ETH, and when you want to get back to ETH, basically, you basically have to do it only in the Curve pool, right? Because you can't, if you're staking ETH2, you can't withdraw it, right? It's like it's impossible. It's not live, right? So you can turn your staked ETH into ETH using the big Curve pool, which is being incentivized heavily currently, which is why it's big and pretty liquid, I think. But if something happened, like if market turbulence things happen, like there is a risk that you could be paying big fees or not be able to turn your staked ETH back into ETH.
Right. That's the main. Okay, I see.
Yeah, generally you can only get your ETH back once the merge happens, and even a few months after that. So we were told not sooner than August next year.
I mean, but one option would be to use, like, if Aqua is audited and it's working and it's and the fair sale is integrated, we could use Aqua to get into staking, right? Like basically selling ETH for staked ETH without paying Curve fees.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And it will give like another site, basically also like the free exchange, right? Someone wants to get out of Steth probably, and they don't want to like pay the Curve fees too.
Yeah, but all we save this way is the entry fee, and it's less than 0.02. And we still have the exit fee that Sky just said, in case anything happens, or even if everything goes well, the exit fee would be 0.05 from the curve pool. So, buying steth on Aqua isn't like much of an improvement, because we can securely deposit ETH to Lido through the DAO with a relayer, and then it's just this, pending exit in about a year's time, if everything goes well or something goes awry meanwhile.
Yeah, and the real so this is we get to real layers and things, and so theoretically, the treasury diversification could, as part of that, which is using multi-sig, could start to acquire staked ETH in place of ETH and sending it back to the DAO. But that's not the DAO doing it itself. For the DAO to technically do the whole thing itself, it would likely require a bunch of work from a new relayer and things like that. So a lot of these ideas we have, which are interesting ideas, whether it's RAI or staked ETH or putting some money into Yearn, these are all good ideas, but because we're very limited on the technical ability that the DAO can actually do, these things kind of are just sitting stale, a lot of them for now, and taking resources away from some other product we're trying to build and putting it towards these, it hasn't been a priority so far.
Yeah, and at the same time, if we would have done those in advance, they could have generated us hundreds of thousands of dollars or saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars in a downturn, and it could have given us a better leeway, and make it easier for investors to see the value in the DAO managing the treasury and valuing the GXT token. Because at the moment we haven't done all of those things. We've fully focused on the dApps, and at the same time the dApps haven't generated much revenue, and it's maybe we should have done those things.
I mean, to be fair, we're lucky we didn't buy RAI when Ether was at 1.8K, but that's, I guess, irrelevant. But it would be nice if we were able to interact with the DAO directly with Swapper or Uniswap, right? Then we could just buy all those tokens there directly through a proposal. That would be pretty nice, no?
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah.
I mean, we will definitely get sandwiched, but it's definitely possible. That's why Aqua is so cool, right? We will not get sandwiched, and we dog food, and we will get our tokens. And I think someone is I think Chris is in sync with Nico about creating a relay which is able to talk to Balancer, Uniswap, and Swapper. So the DXR could interact with those liquidity pools to buy stuff.
Yeah. Last week we mentioned to Nico that we need a relay for Aqua, and he said that his idea is to put some work into a more generalized one that can own funds and interact with other protocols and different funds. So if we do that would be awesome. And I think Daniel, that is from Space Inch, helping Aqua, can help him build this.